So before we get to adding and subtracting rationals, we have to take a look at a little bit at the LCD. So from grade 8, when we had like 2 and 3 on the bottom, there's the example at the top, well, the LCD was 6. And we want to remember, we start there. Find the lowest common denominator and put it below both denominators. Then think to the right, what did we do to the top and what did we do to the bottom to have to get there? Then do it. So the same example down below, if we have an LCD between 2 and 3, I would rather you say the LCD between 2 and 3 is 2 times 3. Because the LCD between A and B is AB. And the LCD between 2 and 6 is sure 6. But I'd again, because 6 is just 2 times 3, I'd rather you say the LCD is 2 times 3, our prime factors. Okay, down the line. The LCD between A and AB is just AB. We don't have to have A squared. They both have an A, so we need an A. Then when they both need a B, because we have a B. The LCD between A and BC is ABC. The LCD between A and A squared and A is just A. The LCD between X squared and X cubed is X cubed. The LCD between ABCD is ABCD. The LCD between 2 and 2 plus 1, well, there's that thing again. 2 plus 1 is 3. Sure, the LCD, like we did above, is 6, but I'd rather you just say the LCD is 2 times 2 plus 1. Because if you get an LCD of A and A plus 1, the LCD is just A and A plus 1. And the LCD between 2 plus 4 and 2 plus 3, well, it's actually not the LCD, but it is a common denominator. I'm just going to cross off that L. It's kind of funny. But getting the point across, the LCD between A plus 1 and A plus 2 is just them both together. Down at the bottom left, the LCD between A, B, and C is just A, B, and C. The LCD between A and A plus 1 is just A plus 1, A and A plus 1. The LCD between A plus 1, and A plus 2 is just A plus 1, and A plus 2. Start to get how simple the LCDs are. So now getting into adding and subtracting fractions, we can now flip the page over in the notes and start taking a look at the notes. So we have 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3. And I'm going to carefully go through this in the exact order of the steps. So the lowest common denominator is 6, so over 6 over 6. I times the 2 by 3 times. If I times the bottom by 3, I have to times the top by 3. And I times the 3 by 2 to get 6, so I have to times the top. And I'm left with 3 plus 2 equals 5 over 6. Check it on your calculator. So again, another simple one off to the right. We have x over 2 plus 1 over 2. We can just add fractions. We have the lowest common denominator of 2. We don't even have to get it. We can just put our tops together. Okay, back to the left. X over 2 minus 1 over 6. Well, our lowest common denominator is 6, so over 6 over 6. And all I did was times the fraction on the left, the top by 3 and the bottom by 3. Therefore, we get 3x minus 1. And my favorite method, if you have a lowest common denominator of 6, just get rid of it and extend the over. Or clean it up. 3x minus 1 all over 6. It's just kind of funny to learn quick steps. It makes you really understand stuff. That's a 6 on the bottom. Okay, so I'm running out of space, so I'm gonna go a little bit to the right. Keep in mind, you're gonna go down in the notes, but let's go for it. So let's take x over x plus 2, and then plus 1 over x plus 2. We have an LCD of x plus 2, so that's the LCD. And we can simply add the tops, x plus 1. Circle your answer. So I've gone down a little bit too far. I skipped the thing in the box. Let's do the box. Pardon me. So let's take 3 over 2 minus a fraction x plus 2 all over 2. We have a lowest common denominator of 2, so we can say 2 on the bottom. We have to say 3 minus open bracket. And then distribute the negative and then keep going. Another crazy version of negatives. Let's take 1 over x minus 2. Excuse me, that's 1 over x minus 2. Plus 1 over 2 minus x. Now the 2 minus x looks funny, so I'm going to rewrite everything else. And then I'm going to factor a negative out of the bottom. So negative open bracket, x minus 2. Remember, change the signs and rearrange the order of the terms. Now, these can combine, and a positive and a negative just make a negative. So we're left with 1 over x minus 2 minus 1 over x minus 2. Happens to be 0. So some crazy negative work. Watch out for negative distribution and removing a greatest common factor of -1. So excuse me, we just did the example below the box on the left, where we did it above the box in the notes, whichever. Okay, so let's do another. So I'm going to have to shrink this stuff up a bunch. And let's do 1 over x plus 2 plus 1 over x plus 2 x plus 3. So what's the lowest common denominator? Well, they both have an x plus 2, so we need an x plus 2. And one of them has an x plus 3, so we need an x plus 2 and an x plus 3. Notice that's my first thought. What is the lowest common denominator? Get it. We have a plus sign in between. Now, above in red, the fraction off to the left, we have to times the top and bottom by x plus 3. And nothing to the fraction on the left. The right, so 1 times x plus 3 is just x plus 3. Then on the top, we have a 1. Then we just put those things together. So on the top, we have x plus 3 plus 1, so we have x plus 4 over what our LCD was, x plus 2, x plus 3. Fractions. I've been forgetting my restrictions. Don't forget about your restrictions. Set your denominators can't equal to 0 off to the right. So down below are just a couple more questions. Let's take a look at them. So again, I'm going to circle down below. We have, what if it simplifies first? Well, if you can simplify first, do it. What if it simplifies at the end? Well, if it can simplify at the end, do it. Don't forget about your restrictions. So that's adding and subtracting using the lowest common denominator method. Remembering from fractions in grade 8, the steps are lowest common denominator, expand the fraction by multiplication or division, etc. Add or subtract the tops. The denominator stays the same. Okay, so that's adding and subtracting using lowest common denominator. Now we're going to solve equations by multiplying both sides by the lowest common denominator.